welcome back to the Crimson KB podcast. I hope y'all are having a good afternoon. So let's get into our first little topic of discussion here. And that's this little number right here. Tekken Bloodline animated series announced for Netflix 2022. That is incredible that out of all the things, it's Tekken that are getting an animated series here. And personally, I absolutely love it. So, IGN posted here, Netflix has announced Tekken Bloodline, an animated series based on the beloved fighting series that is set to be released in 2022. Netflix shared the news on Twitter by releasing both a teaser trailer and a poster that is focused on Jin Kazama. The official YouTube channel also reveals the show's synopsis. The tweet says, in the first animated series they did do, I believe they did do another animated shot years ago. Jin Kazama goes on a heroic mission leading to the ultimate battle, the King of the Iron Fist tournament, and it will be dropping sometime later this year. Power is everything. Jin Kazama learned the family self-defense arts, Kazama-style traditional martial arts from his mother at an early age. The official synopsis reads, even so, he was powerless when a monstrous evil suddenly appeared, and the evil that appeared was Ogre, destroying everything dear to him, changing his life forever. Angry at himself for being unable to stop it, Jin vowed revenge and sought absolute power to exact it. His quest will lead to the ultimate battle on a global stage, the King of Iron Fist tournament. The trailer also teases some of the Tekken characters that will be part of the show, including who appear to be, these are, Heihachi Mishima, Kazuya Mishima, Leroy Smith, King, Jun Kazama, his mother, Paul Phoenix, and Ogre. This is not the first time Tekken has explored other entertainment mediums, as an anime Tekken film was released in 1998. A live-action film followed in 2009, and it was awful. And an animated film, Tekken Blood Vengeance, arrived in 2011. That was pretty decent right there. As for the Tekken games, the last mainline entry was Tekken 7 in 2015. It began in arcades and came to consoles in 2017. And no official announcements have been made for a Tekken 8 or whatever it may end up being called. The Tekken animated series is just one of many in the works projects based on video games and joins an ever-growing list that includes Sonic the Hedgehog 2, BioShock, Halo, The Last of Us, and many more. So, again, this is a trend that seems to be popping up more and more here. That was very, very prominent in the 90s. Was them trying to take video games and put them in other mediums, especially movies and animated series and stuff like that. Now, this goes back all the way back to things like the Mario Brothers Super Show, the original Legend of Zelda cartoon. You know the one. Excuse me, princess. You know the one I'm talking about. It goes back a very long way, and they've tried to successfully incorporate video games into television series, movies, to various degrees of hit and miss. And sadly, it's mostly been a miss over the years. The Mario Brothers movie, while, a fun little junk popcorn movie, was not received well. The Doom movie starring The Rock was not received well. Tomb Raider has been hit and miss. The Final Fantasy movie that they tried, while a technological marvel, was not a good Final Fantasy movie. In fact, the only Final Fantasy movie that was received very positively was Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, because it was going off of the events of Final Fantasy VII and continuing that story. Now, whether you're a Seven fan or not, it can't be denied that it was received extremely well. But video game movies and video game television series, for the most part, have had a lot of unsuccess, or have not been very successful over the years. However, it has shown in the last, I want to say 5 or so years, that things have kind of taken a turn for the better. And a big example I can give is the Castlevania series. The Castlevania series on that also popped up on Netflix. The Castlevania series was based off of the video games, and of course was based on the events of Castlevania 3, which was very early in the Castlevania timeline with Trevor and Alucard and Sypha. And so it was based off of those events. And it was received extremely well. The audience very much liked it. It was a coherent story. It had interesting characters. It had very beautiful animation. It had an understandable, relatable antagonist in Dracula. It had a very, cunning, backstabbing villainess in Carmilla. And so you had a lot of different, characters in the mix here with all different agendas and backstories and things of that nature. And it was received extremely well and was very, very successful and had a very good, not to spoil too much here, but had a very good happy ending. I know it's strange for something like, say, Castlevania having a happy ending, but it did. It had a definitive punctuation mark at the end and was received really well and had a very good ending. And quite frankly, they didn't need to do more with it after that as far as those characters were concerned. Will they continue it? That remains to be seen. Of course, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, while initially received very big backlash strictly on the design of Sonic the Hedgehog himself, which has become very infamous and memed to hell and back. The studio saw the backlash and actually took it to heart and redesigned Sonic. And it was received extremely well. And it not just for the redesign itself being more faithful to the original look of Sonic himself, but just for the fact that a movie studio was willing to listen to the fans and to the audience. And because they did that, while it did set them back on time and very much the same case in money, it proved to be a box office smash and was received extremely well. You could even say Detective Pikachu was received extremely well and did extremely well in the box office as well. Sonic the Hedgehog, however, was a commercial success, was received very, very positively by from the nostalgia with adults, with children, and all around. It did a very, very good job. It did a very good job, and the fans went all happy, and the studio was happy, and it did so well that it warranted a sequel, which is bringing in Knuckles and also Jim Carrey reprising his role as Dr. Robotnik, which I will personally say I think Jim Carrey is the perfect fit for a Dr. Robotnik character. I think he is just in his element, and I think he's just enjoying the role so much. And it's a good story that they're telling. It's maybe not the best story, but it is an engaging and fun one. And overall, it's good stuff. And so there's a lot of hype and anticipation behind that. Of course, the Halo series is coming very soon. BioShock is getting something. The Last of Us is getting something. Super Mario has a movie on the way. So this really seems to be a big turnaround in the video game industry when it comes to movies and television series, because I firmly do believe that there are people that are helming these projects and leading these projects that actually are fans of these franchises, that actually know the history and are appreciating and recognizing the history of these franchises and want to do them justice, because it's been proven and it has been a time-tested statement that when you do things that make your fans happy, that positivity and joy from it and the success from it can radiate off of pleasing those fans into bringing in new audience members. When you try to cater to everybody, that's when you can lose yourself. You have to appeal to your fans first, especially when it comes to video games and video game adaptations. You have to please your fans first. Many studios tend to forget this. Whether they be in movies, whether they be in television series, whether they be in streaming series, whether they be in the video game industry, period. Many studios and devs over the years, I feel, have forgotten this this philosophy, you could say. That a lot of them have forgotten this philosophy, and I'll even use Final Fantasy 14 as an example. The reason 14 has been so successful, not just because of the open communication with fans, and not just the fact that it was a success story after the failure that was 1.0, but the fact that they made it a Final Fantasy game first to make Final Fantasy fans happy first. And because they did that, and because it succeeded off of that notion, and because they made it fun to play and improved things over time, it brought in more and more people as an audience, and now they have more players than they ever did before. They have more players than ever. And so right there, it proves right there, if you please your fan base first, and you please your player base first, if you please your core audience first, success will come. Success will happen. And I am very confident that, especially after the success that Castlevania had on Netflix, I'm very confident that Tekken Bloodline is going to possibly have the same success. If they're very smart with the story, and just from what I've seen with the animation itself, the animation is very beautifully done. It is very, very beautifully done, very much in the vein of Tekken and its appearance. If they do this and it proves to be a success, and Mortal Kombat has done the same, while the animated, the two animated films that they did, the story may have been, maybe a little convoluted. It's Mortal Kombat, and you have to kind of take the cheesiness with it. But even Mortal Kombat has proven that you can do animated movies and actually be very successful, because those two, while cheesy. Again, it's Mortal Kombat. You have to take it with a degree of cheese there. Even Mortal Kombat has had success in that avenue. And it shows right there that animation is the future of video game adaptations in so many regards. Like, you could take Sonic the Hedgehog and integrate him into live action, very similar in the vein of Roger Rabbit, as the first Sonic movie showed. You could take a series like Halo and absolutely make it live action. Would Halo also work as an animated series? Absolutely. Tekken has proven that live action is just not good enough, because Tekken is so over the top that it needs to be animation, because in animation versus live action, you can get away with a lot more. You can also break the boundaries of what is physically possible because it's animated. But it also brings up a baffling thing of another series that's going to be coming later on, and that's the Mega Man series. Now, you'd think something like Mega Man would absolutely be animated, right? But they announced that Mega Man was going to be live action, which left a lot of fans scratching their head. Of all the things that should have been an animated series, it should have been Mega Man. Because, come on, look at it, something like Mega Man absolutely begs to be animated. Now, something like Last of Us, could it work in animation? Yes, but we understand that it is possible. I do believe it is going live action. I could be correct about that. I could be incorrect about that. But, BioShock is getting a series. So, either way, the thing at the end of the day is it's so good seeing the video game industry and these IPs from video games treated with a lot more dignity and respect, and given the time and the effort to actually make good animation series, streaming series, television series, movies, and actually make a good product out of them while still paying respect to the original source material and making things that are pleasing to the core audience. Because like I said, if you please your core audience, it will radiate off of that success, and you can possibly bring in a new audience as well alongside the core audience. That, to me, is the secret to success when you're bringing video games into adaptations in other mediums. I think my only regret, well, maybe not a regret, I think my only bit of salt out of all of this is that we didn't get this when we were kids. We got all the crap when we were kids, and it's just not fair, man. It's just not fair. We got all the crap, and now they get all the good stuff. But at the end of the day, Tekken Bloodline looks to be very good, and I hope it is a success.